Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe. Now let's get on with today's show. I'm going to donate all my self-published book profits to charity. Good for you, but not good for you. I'd suggest just making a cash donation to your favorite charity instead of sharing some of your book's profits. Let me explain why. As my self-publishing surveys in both 2016 and 2018 found, about 73% of self-published authors surveyed earned less than $1,000 a year in book income. Note that this was found in two separate surveys, 2 years apart, and two different author participant populations. And this was gross income, not net income after expenses and taxes and all those things. There's a good chance that self-published authors aren't making enough money to share any profits. Even if you're one of the lucky few self-published authors who does make more than $1,000 a year in book income, does it make sense to do one of these give back donations as you earn more? Well, let's do some math. Let's say that you're doing an all profits donation from your Kindle ebook. Through Kindle Direct Publishing, or KDP, the maximum royalty you can make is 70% of the sales price. For some markets and lower priced ebooks, right now that's $2.99 and less, you'll only earn 35% royalty. But there are two other percentages that you need to deduct from royalties: overhead and cost of goods sold. Overhead covers all costs related to running your writing business, and that includes advertising, internet service, website hosting, telephone software, postage, accounting. The list goes on and on. COGS, cost of goods sold, is all costs that go into producing each copy of the book you sell. For Kindle ebooks, there aren't many COGS costs except for a file size fee at the 70% royalty level, and that's pretty minimal. At the 35% royalty level, there are no file size fees, at least currently. Overhead can be 25% to 35% or more of your total business income, even up to 100% or more of your income, especially in very small and newer businesses. Please don't say that you don't have any of these costs. You do. You always do. For example's sake, let's say you're just selling Kindle ebooks and that your overhead is 35% and you have no cost of goods sold. In this example, it doesn't make any difference what you charge at the 35% royalty level because you're making zero profit and therefore not making any donation. But at the 70% royalty level, it would be 70% royalty minus 35% overhead and zero COGS in this example, and that would be 35% net profit. Now let's plug in some realistic dollar numbers for the 70% royalty level. Say you're charging $6.95 for your Kindle ebook. That would be $6.95 times 35% net profit equals $2.43 to charity for every book. That's not really too bad. Here's the kicker. If you sell 100 books a year, which might be optimistic for many self-published titles, you'd send your charity $243. Considering that some estimates show that self-published authors only sell about 250 copies of their book total in the lifetime of the book, it's not going to be a whopping amount that you're going to be sending to charity. What about print? If you're sharing profits from sales of your print book, you're likely to be in the loss zone once your overhead and COGS are deducted. In some quick calculations I did with the KDP print cost calculator, and that's a really cool tool. It's in beta mode. Check it out. For a paperback book with 250 black and white interior pages sold through Amazon, priced at $14.95, your estimated print royalty is 34%, or $5.12, after print COGS costs are deducted. So let's deduct the overhead example from this print royalty example. What does that end up with? Negative 1% net profit, which is a loss. So for this print example, you're sustaining a loss, meaning you're paying to publish and sell this title, which is bad in itself, and you're giving $0 to charity. These calculations are based on self-publishing through KDP and selling on Amazon. If you do expanded distribution, which is selling through all non-Amazon channels such as bookstores, libraries, and schools, or you use a non-Amazon self-publishing platform such as Ingram, Spark, or Lulu, your royalties might even be less, making it less likely that you'll be donating anything to charity. None of these calculations take into account any investment costs in preparing your book for market. This would include editing and book cover design. You might be in the hole financially even before you start selling. The bottom line is you need to be profitable to be charitable. And I want you to tattoo that on your brain. If you do indeed give all your net profits to charity, you better have receipts that it went to a legit charity. And that is one that has a verifiable 501c3 designation here in the US. As well, you better be able to clearly show how you calculated your donation. Otherwise, the IRS or whatever taxing body is applying to your area could tax your income. It's also been my experience that many authors have little or no experience with accounting, bookkeeping, and taxation, making it difficult to figure out how much will actually be going to charity. Before you do any profits to charity scheme, whether it's all profits or even a portion, consult your CPA or your tax advisor. How will you handle the donation to a specific charity? Will it be a public donation? Most charities welcome cash donations, but does this group want to be identified with you? Is it a charity your market resonates with? What if public sentiment about this charity changes in the future? With increased scrutiny of donation activities these days, it's worth thinking about the PR ramifications for both you and the charity. And why are you doing this in the first place? To make your audience think you're so generous? Do you have a negative attitude towards publishing for profit, so you decide to give it all away? Are you unable to financially support the charity, so you want to muscle your reader buyers into making the donation for you? Are you trying to emulate the big corporations who do this, even though you don't have anywhere near the resources they do? How long would you be willing to do this for the charity? A year? Forever? Once people know you're donating all profits to charity, they will think that you're going to do this all the time. Will they think less of you when you go back to being for-profit? Remember too that books are not like other retail products with suitable substitutes. Readers aren't going to be making either or type decisions between your books and those of competitors. So a give back donation isn't as much of a differentiator as it might be in some other markets. My personal feeling is that the whole profits to charity trend isn't as exciting as it used to be. Too many people are doing it or doing it wrong, which elicits a meh response. Do some soul searching to see if you're just doing this give back for the optics Also think about how it might impact your writing business's image and PR. I was on the board of directors and a treasurer for a 501c3 charity for years. This was a volunteer post, and while I truly believe in the cause and still support it even now, it was a lot of work. So I know how easy it can be to get burned out from doing charitable efforts where you don't get paid. So why not just write a check? Hope you found this helpful. And if you did, please rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast platform you like to use. I'm on all the major ones: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean. Pick your favorite, I'm probably there. If you like the YouTube video better, you just have to subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you get an alert when there's a new video up. I would appreciate it if you would share the audio or the video with your friends on social media. My self-published books are on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is search for my name, Heidi Thorne, and my author page will come up with a list of all available titles. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is HeidiThorne.com, and I'm most active on the social channels of Instagram and TikTok at Heidi Thorne. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.